Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. This is Peter Leppones with Appella Wealth, and I have a video I wanted to do here today, doing a very brief recap of the market last year, in particular focusing on some of the events that took place and seeing what type of impact that they had on the market. So here's our 2025 market recap. The first slide that we have here, it's busy. There's a lot going on here, but let me break this down for you. We have the S&P 500 from January 1st to December 31st of 2025. And the white boxes represent a variety of different headlines that took place during 2025. Some of them were very impactful to the markets, say, for example, the tariffs. Others were very historic in nature, but didn't necessarily have any type of impact on the market. For example, there's a title here for the terrible wildfires that took place in California. Then also the passing of Pope Francis, and then subsequently being replaced by the first American-born Pope, Pope Leo. While these were significantly historical, we're not going to see a big impact on the stock market. There's been four events that I highlighted on this presentation, one being the tariffs, very, very impactful to the stock market. But three others I wanted to mention. We had hostilities break out between India and Pakistan. These are two countries with a long history of disdain for each other. They're both nuclear powers. So this is a serious situation. Fortunately, did not manifest into anything worse than minor skirmish. However, there could have been some significant impacts to the market with this. The U.S. striking Iran's nuclear weapons capabilities, and then also toward the end of the year, we had the U.S. government shutdown for approximately a month. And so what I wanted to do is say, if I went back to January 1st, 2025, and I had a crystal ball and we were talking, and I said, hey, in 2025, we're going to have tariffs. We're going to have India, Pakistan. We're going to have the U.S. attacking Iran. We're going to have a government shutdown. What do you think the market's going to do in 2025? Are we going to have a good year or a bad year? And hearing that, in all likelihood, you'd be inclined to say, Peter, it sounds like we're going to have a really bad year. Well, as it turned out, we had a good year, dare I say, a great year. And one of the other things that this shows is we notice the green dots here. What they represent, if we look in the bottom right-hand corner, they represent all-time highs of the market. So in 2025, there were 46 all-time highs. And I want to put a little context around that for you. There are approximately 250 trading days in a calendar year. When we factor in weekends and holidays, 250 days, almost 20% of the trading days in 2025 represented a new high in the S&P 500. So it was a very, very strong year for the market, despite all of the headlines, all of the things that were taking place, both in our country and outside of our country. So what I want to do next is clean this particular graph up a little bit and give us some numbers to break down certain portions of the year and what happened. So if we look between January 1st and April 8th, the market was down 15%, primarily due to the tariffs. A lot of uncertainty around those. There were tariffs for some countries and not for others. The tariffs were here one day, then gone the next. And the market was trying to digest and process all of this. And we all know how much the market hates uncertainty. We had a significant amount of volatility, negatives on our account balances, losses on our statements. Clearly, a lot of anxiety surrounding that in the early parts of 2025. Between February 19th and April 8th, the biggest drawdown, the market was down almost 19% in roughly a 6-week time frame. In fact, at one point, the market reached bear market territory, which means a loss of 20%. It quickly rebounded off of that low, but on April 7th, the market was actually in bear market territory. And so in speaking with a lot of you during that, the questions always come up, oh my goodness, Peter, how long is this going to last for? What's going to happen? And then ultimately, what should I do? My advice to you in the past, in 2025, and in the future, when these types of events take place with the market, is always going to be, let's remain calm, let's stay in our seats, we're not going to do anything. This will pass at some point. And things turned quickly. So we look at April 4th. It was announced that tariffs were going to be on all of our major trading partners. The market was down. The S&P 500 was down 6% in one day. Less than a week later, the tariffs were postponed. The markets were up almost 10% in just one day, a huge rally. So things turned very, very quickly. If we had taken action during this time of volatility, during this time of such uncertainty, we had taken action and gotten out of the market, things moved quickly, we would have missed out on a lot of this upside here, maybe all of it, based upon when you got back in to the market. And so we were down 20% on April 7th. We hit our low and we started to build back on April 9th. By the time May rolls around, we are break even. And then the market was up for the remaining portion of the year. We see this piece of orange right here. This represents the government shutdown. That too had an impact on the market. However, once it ended, the markets rebounded quickly. So 2025, great year. That's 3 strong years of market performance that we've seen, 3 in a row, 2023, 2024, and now 2025. What's in store for 2026? That's the question that everybody has. And so far, year to date, we've started out very strong. The markets have been up year to date. At some point, we are going to get a pullback with the market. We never know when it will happen, how much of a pullback, how long does it last, but at some point it will happen. Going through these market downturns is the price that we have to pay for having 3 years of strong market growth. So we will see it at some point. So as we start to get into 2026 and you have questions on either some of the information that we've discussed here in this video, your own financial plan, your own portfolio, and how all of that works together, please reach out. Give us a call, send me an email. Be more than happy to set up some time to speak with you about all of this and what are we going to do into 2026 and beyond. So I want to thank you for your time today. Thank you for joining us. I would like to thank our partners at Avantis for providing us these slides in all of this great detail. If you know of someone who you think could find this helpful, please feel free to pass this along to them. So thank you again for everyone. Happy New Year again, and we will be in touch.